Excellent. Cool. I'm Stacie Ysidro with Holistic Progressions and St. Pete Retreat, and I'm here with Robbie. Say your last name. Zago, and we're at Angel's Erotic Lounge. Thank you for opening your space and having this conversation with me today. So tell me about what is an erotic lounge in the first place?
You know, when I changed the name of the club, that was one of the first questions I was asked. What is an erotic lounge? And my response was very simple. I don't know. Let's find out.
Great.
You know, I've had some people turn around and say, hey, you know, this is like, it sounds like an Eyes Wide Shut kind of thing, like the Kubrick movie. And I'm like, well, that's kind of the point, you see, because Tom Cruise's character in that movie had such an intense curiosity that he was willing to go through things that challenged his inner to find answers to it. And that is kind of the mission, you know, or one of the goals that I have in mind for this place. We offer more than just a gentleman's club experience. We added the erotic art gallery, and now we are bringing in workshops like yours as a means of trying to round out the possibilities that, you know, a true gentleman's club, not strip club, gentleman's club should offer.
Awesome. So what I'm hearing you say is that the model of most strip clubs is not a model that you feel like encompasses everything that it actually could.
Well, in my years of doing this, I have come to learn that strip clubs tend to be strictly transactional based, and then there's other nuances that are incorporated into it, but it's strictly transactional based. I feel that there is much more that can be offered, not to mention the fact that I am a lover of history and the history of the Gentleman's Club, how it came up through, has changed over the time, but I feel it was once an art, and that has been lost to other things as it became more modernized. And, you know, I want to bring some of that back. And since I control this space, that is my intention.
I love this. This is a whole new conversation. Tell me about the history. But to keep it grounded here, so if I like blueprintify this conversation, right? Because we did a blueprint event here, so you're starting to hear this language. The sexual blueprint is about nudity, genital contacts, have the orgasms, be done, move on, right? This is what it is, and that's it. So it seems like that most strip clubs are a very sexual blueprint type environments. And there's all these other aspects or blueprints of sexuality, like the energy and the vibe of the situation, the connection, the tease, the sensual with the seduction, and like costuming and music and lighting, and even the kink element, which we've got some fun kink art up right now, which is super cool. So what I'm like hearing and seeing as I've been interacting with you in this space is that this is not just a sexual blueprint space. This is really this is a shapeshifter space. Like we're encompassing energy and connection and conversations with the light and the sounds and the costumes and the performance and, you know, the tease and the turn on. So rather than it just being very straight, simple sexual blueprint, you're actually encompassing all of the blueprints here in a complete experience, and you're not really leaving anything out.
In the end, it's about feeling. If you don't feel something, you're not going to do something. You know, whether it's in a relationship or whether it's in even a business type transaction, if you're not feeling it, you're not going to do it. You know, you one of the biggest premises of the erotic blueprints is that connection that you establish. You learn, recognize, you establish it, and then you, for lack of a better word, you stroke it, you enhance it, and all of that is about feeling. See, if the way I look at it is sexuality is a great description for many things, but it doesn't involve feeling. But if I turn around and say that sensuality, instantly that registers as a feeling. So with sensuality comes anticipation, it comes the fantasy, and these are things that lack in most of these clubs, and the clothing is really important, but that seems to be falling by the wayside. You'll get a lot of nude clubs out there in my industry that the girls can walk around naked, but what are you feeling? That's just straight visual. Explain to me why it is that most men would prefer side boob to full frontal nudity. Why? Because we have incredible imaginations and we want to know what it looks like. We don't want to just see it. We want to know what it looks like. We build that anticipation. We do it visually. Whereas women have a tendency to be more focused on words, and which is why you have something like a Pornhub for men, but women will read romance novels more often than anything else. Because of that, I'm trying to incorporate a mix of all of it. I'm trying to create an environment where you feel it from the moment you walk in. And it first starts with getting comfortable.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I will absolutely say. Everyone that we have brought into this space immediately says how comfortable and at home they feel here. And I can testify to that too, that you feel very comfortable, very welcoming, just like I'm going to my friend's house to go hang out.
See, the other thing is I believe, and this is again something that I've developed over the years of being in this industry, I believe that gentlemen's clubs and those similar type, they have an ability to affect society in a positive manner. And of course, this is up to them to do that. This is their choice, the governing bodies, but they do. So, if I can point out that, I have seen women that have come in over the years that have, held the body language that is more submissive, and they're unsure of themselves, and then after working for a little bit, you see them start standing taller, and that affects everything, it's lifting from the bottom up, so it affects them. And then after a while that starts, not just being in the club, but it goes to their outside life, and positive mentalities bring on positive effects, so that becomes part of it. My environment, being that it's a nude environment with the restrictions that we don't have alcohol, so which is a common thing in our industry, is to have alcohol, and most people when they go out to gentlemen's clubs they have alcohol. But I feel that in this scenario, alcohol actually blocks what we're trying to accomplish. So for me, it's not a downside to have alcohol. Instead, what it does is it allows, in the case of the women that I have had employed over the years, it allows them to get past things that have caused trauma in their lives, that have affected their self-esteem negatively. It has allowed them to get past it because there isn't the crutch of a substance. So there's no crutch from the drugs or the alcohol or anything along those lines. So they actually learn to develop that confidence without the use of a substance that alters the perception or the mind.
Yeah, this is into one of my specialties is sexuality and sobriety, and experiencing sexuality without having to use drugs or alcohol.
But see, that's one side of it.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I believe that there's a lot of places that women can go to get this kind of support.
And
Maybe
so
not
right
in the
now,
same
though,
level.
you're speaking of like the people that are working here, like the
Yes.
women that work for you.
But let me go a step further.
Mhm.
So I have had guests. I call them guests because we invite them to stay, and we hope they stay as long as possible. Whereas customers, they just come and go. So everybody that enters my building is guests. With them, I have seen that kind of effect from them as well. Many of the regulars that have come in over the years, they too, they are usually kind of shy or uncomfortable, and then they start getting more comfortable and talkative, and then you start seeing their personality come out in that regard, and then after a while, you start finding out that, oh, they got a girlfriend, where before they didn't. And the common thought of in this industry when people leave is that they ran out of money or whatever case. But you know, I started realizing that no, it's because the time that they had spent in here got them comfortable talking to beautiful women, which gave them more control and more confidence in their communication outside in the real world. So, you know, but unlike my previous statement, there really isn't a place for men to go to develop that kind of understanding because of, and in certain instances, because of societal restraints. Women are allowed to women are allowed to be soft, men are not. So in order for that to happen with men, it has to be subversive.
It has to be a safe space where they feel comfortable and yeah, can open up.
Yeah. So, you know, this is where this environment kind of kicks in. And for those that are able to get past the lack of alcohol and such, they tend to end up really enjoying the space because it too shocks them that they can actually have an experience in more of a non-traditional way that is enjoyable. Non-traditional meaning without alcohol or things like that. And the environment tends to be really relaxed and comfortable. And that's one of the first things that people say, be it men or women. And that includes guests that come in that are women as well. They immediately just feel really comfortable. And that was by design, between the way that we designed the lighting, the way we designed the club, the way we designed the layout, the type of furniture that we used. Everything was meant to create an effect, to create the feeling, and to bring forward emotion.
Yeah, and I'm like feeling like, wow, we're hitting a bunch of really important points here that I kind of want to like call out and land, right? So one of them is the first thing you talked about, that the women who work here are different compared to other places because this is a no drugs, no alcohol environment. The other thing is that they experience a sense of empowerment and appreciation for their art. I know you do a lot of different types of performances here, the women do. So it is a level of artistry rather than just raw sexual appeal. The other thing is I heard you say is about the guests that come in, that this is a great space for them to start to get practice having conversations with women, being comfortable, being in a sexual environment or a sensual environment. So if they weren't comfortable before, maybe had some guilt or shame or just not really feeling that confident, this gives them a space to start to titrate their experience so they can kind of dip their toe in and have a conversation with someone, experience some of the performance, experience some art. And so over time, they start building more self-confidence and are able to start having conversations with people. And so it's beneficial for the guest that comes in because that environment is different.
Yeah. And I mean, this is, of course, there's always X factors, but this is, you know, majority, and this is the goal. You know, in the end, it matters to us the kind of experience that they have. That's very important to us. So, you know, and I'd rather not take someone's money if I know that they're not going to have that kind of experience. At the same time, like, we want people that will participate. You know, the girls are encouraged to express themselves. We have an open music format so they can dance to whatever. And some of my favorites, believe it or not, is when my girls dance to show tunes. I have girls that dance to Broadway tunes, and they will perform, you know, and even with no training, it just takes over, and you can see it in their faces and in their eyes. You can see it just takes over, and they just start moving in manners that I don't even think they planned, but yet it turns out to be just this most gorgeous performance. You know, and I have had those throughout the years. I have had many people approach me about how different it is, and it is.
So how do you want people to feel having like a complete experience here? We've landed like it's welcoming and comfortable. So what happens next? Like what else do you want them to feel?
Well, really and truly, it's about themselves more so than it's about us. We are, I mean, I don't know whether I'd want to consider it more like a tool, but we are just part of the process of opening up. When you combine everything that we have here, we, you know, we want people to be more open. We want that, that unsure of what they're doing female that comes in as a guest to open up and be like, wow, that's beautiful. Wow, I'm beautiful too. And that's something that many of them tend to be concerned isn't going to happen. I've had many where they've come to the door and been like, I'm not sure why I'm here. Okay, well, let's come in and find out what happens, and then they'll be nervous and I'll be like, listen, just be yourself. Just be yourself, enjoy it, understand that they want to have a good time too. And so they want you to enjoy yourself as well. Next thing you know, they're sitting at the front of the stage, throwing money, having a good time, and be like, I'm gonna be back next time. And we're like, yes, we can't wait. When it comes to the men, it's like most men who have experience in other clubs, there is a moment of shock when they come in here, because when they start realizing that it's not like the other clubs, then at that point, it's like they start seeing the women differently. See, in the end, it's like women to me are very, very special. I grew up with very strong women in my life, and so when I came in this industry, I was shocked at the contrast. But the thing is that they are very, very special, and they needed to. I feel that they need to be appreciated in that manner. Um, but at the same time, it's like in order to do that, I feel like men need to recognize certain aspects. And so when these girls perform, and it doesn't matter which one it is, their goal is to without sounding too dramatic, to wash the room with that feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? On that stage, they are goddesses, and these gentlemen that come in here start seeing that. And in the end, I want this to be a place where when somebody who say is married says to the wife, "Hey, I'm gonna go to Angels with so and so," she's like, "I want to come to you." That's one of the ultimate goals. I want women to be able to be confident to bring their significant others here, and because then they get to see what you know divine feminine is in a relatable fashion.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's really a theme and like a mission around self-acceptance, acceptance around sexualities, sexual self-expression. Um, yeah, so accepting yourself, accepting others, and there's like a sexual freedom piece here, and witnessing people being in their freedom gives others permission to embrace themselves and experience that freedom themselves.
Yeah. I have over the years, I've seen a lot of people when they come to my door. I've told this story before, they come to the door, and I look at them and I'm just like, on the surface, I'm like, there's no way this person has issues communicating with women. And they come in the door, and within the first couple of minutes, you could totally see why. Because men are not taught this. We're not taught this. So we have to discover this on our own. So until that
Or
happens,
hire a sex coach.
that I will lead into. So what we do is we tend
And
to
hire a sex coach.
we as men tend to overcompensate, and when we don't need to. So, having the disarming feature that this environment brings allows them to kind of pull that back and see that there are, better ways, they get better results, things of that sort. Now, that being said, by bringing workshops like yours into this environment, that enhances that. And it also encourages couples to do that, because there's even that in couples, which is one of the reasons why the divorce rate, I believe, is so high. Because if there was more connection between couples, they would stay together more, and even in today's world, that is still really, really important. And that's me saying this as the type of business owner that I am, so by bringing that connection to, your life with your significant other, give yourself more of an opportunity for longevity. And that is really important. So, and again, that is vital for why I'm trying to bring these workshops in. So this all ties into Erotic Lounge instead of Gentlemen's Club, because it's more than just that. It is a place where you have potential to find greater connection with yourself and with who you invite into your life.
I love that. That's so beautifully put. And I will say, as a coach that has worked with a lot of men over the last 12 years, there's absolutely a need for people to practice. And I actually just referred someone here because of that. They're in a space where they're ready to start having conversations and start dating and start to allow themselves to be seen, and they're wanting to build connections, but there's the some self-confidence and some fear and the lack of experience in general, so I was like, I know exactly where you need to go. You need to go to Angel's Erotic Lounge, because this is a different space where you actually are going to get to have conversations, and it's not like the normal places you most likely have been before. And so I would say, especially like energetics and sensuals, this is a place for sure for you, because of that ability to have conversations and connect and appreciate art and beauty and performance. And it's a well-rounded experience. So yeah, I love that idea of being able to be in a space where you can start to learn and grow and put things that that we've been working on in coaching sessions, go out and start putting those conversations into practice and start getting comfortable around people and comfortable with sexuality. So yeah, there's definitely an immersive experiential thing that needs to occur, rather than just talking about it all day long.
In the end, you have to be ready, but it's not about talking about it. It's going out and doing, so that you don't fall in love with the idea of doing and you actually fall in love with the doing. And the more confident you are in yourself, the better you're going to treat everyone around you, including total strangers. The less you feel the need to compensate in those ways that don't work out the way that you expect them to, whether you realize it or not. It's a whole big melting pot of different experiences that in the end leads to living a better life. I've had relationships that I have had deep connections with. And in that regard, it didn't matter whether it followed the traditional sense, in terms of behaviors and actions that are set forth, because everything is 10 times better, and so if I have the ability to use my space to bring that forward, to bring that for people, then I absolutely am about doing it, and if it spreads, that's even better. If it ends up to a point where people start recognizing this and it actually makes some entry into this industry, that's even better. That's even better, because I think that in the end, if even a quarter of us gain from this, society will see a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just so appreciative that you're here, and your mission and to be an environment that's so encompassing and inclusive. And there's one thing that I was really excited about and impressed with was your total vision and sex positive outlook. And I was like, oh, look, you're partner in the journey and the mission, to normalize sexuality and help people understand themselves and accept themselves and other people and experience deep connection. And it's really refreshing to have someone else on the team, and to find each other and find our people. I know you all are out there and this is landing for someone, and they're going to come in here and realize they're not alone, and that there's a space where you can come and explore sexuality, and there's people like us out here that are on your team and that are here to partner with you on that journey. So yeah, this is super cool. The workshop was amazing to be up there like on the stage and have people there, and just to have a space where we can actually do events like that is huge. And I think, yeah, we should, do another segment of this video and talk about the events that you have coming up. I know you've got like besides our event, November 6th, we've got a new switch out happening here, and a big celebration coming.
That is November 12th. That is the new exhibit that will be coming out. That is Temptation, Craving the Forbidden. And I'm very excited. I get excited when I start seeing more artwork come out. Our opening nights are always fun. That is how I met Johnny, which then led me to you guys. And that was, I can't even express to you how much fun that was. People came up to me by the dozens and were like, this is awesome. When's the next one? And I'm just like, man, soon, real soon. But I want to do more. I'm looking forward to incorporating you guys into other events that we throw for the Gentlemen's Club that that put more of a spotlight on this. Like, I'm very, very excited about this. I'm very elated about what the future is going to bring.
Yeah, and also too, I know a lot of people that follow us are also in the sexuality industry and field, and often have challenges finding places to host events. So absolutely reach out and see if this would be a good fit for you.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a bad idea. It's just logistics. I am open to whatever, I mean, this trail has not been cut before. So we have no idea where the turns are going to come from, but that's okay. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to seeing who brings what to the table and how we can facilitate it. I can't do what you do, but I can at least provide the space for you to do that for others.
Yeah, and it's like all pieces to the puzzle, and we're all in this together, which I think is super cool to be on this journey with everyone.
So again, what's an erotic lounge? I don't know. Let's go find out.
Yeah, let's find out. Type it in the chat. Let us know what you think Erotic Lounge is, and come check the space out and join us for one of the events, and check out our next video that we're going to post all about the event. So is there anything you want to say in closing?
No, then just check out our website. We have angelserotic.com. We have a bunch of different events, including yours, that go up there. We have our announcements for our gallery. We also have a blog site that I post up different, philosophies and stories, and as we develop that will encompass more things. I realize blogs are a little bit
accepting submissions right now.
Yeah. We'll have a whole bunch of other stuff. We're getting our social media active. We don't have as much content for that because.
So tell us the social media.
Okay, so it's Angels.
How can people find you?
Angels Erotic on Facebook or Instagram, and we have Art of Angels Gallery on Facebook or Instagram as well.
Awesome. We're going to put the links in the description and in the comments so that you can follow us and come check the place out and join us for one of the events. So thank you so much. This has been excellent.
This is fun. We should do this again.
Yes, we're going to.